Let's continue with our website project. In the last video, we talked about how you can add HTML, which gives us new web pages here. So now I've got 3 web pages. We talked about adding CSS, which gave us this CSS file here, which lets us format the styles and things like that. We also talked about how to create different size headings, with H1 being the biggest of the 6 and H6 being the smallest. And we also talked about creating paragraphs using this paragraph opening and closing tag. And then we talked about how to create lists. In my page, I've got an unordered list with the UL tags, and then each of your items in the list have an LI tag, and then a closing LI tag. So next, we're going to go ahead and talk about how to have images on your website. So I'm going to go to my third page here with my pets, and I'm actually going to change this a little bit because I couldn't get all my pictures how I wanted them. So I'm going to just put it like this and take one of these off. There we go. So I've got 2 sections. I've got two smaller headings. I've got my largest heading, my pets, and then an H2 for Thunder and Mallow, and an H2 for the bunnies. So I'm going to give myself a little more space to work here, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some images. So I want to put some images of my pets, so I'm going to go to Add Image, and then I'll go to Upload File. Okay, and then I'm going to go to my downloads, and I've got one here. I'm going to hit open, and I am on a Mac computer, so it might look a little bit differently depending on what type of computer you're using. So it's uploading here, and it's actually just take a few seconds. That one's done, and then I can upload another one if I want, and I can click on it and hit open. And the other one's uploading, and that one's finished as well. Once they're both finished, click on this X here. Do not click on the red garbage can. That'll get rid of your picture completely. Click on this X instead. Okay, so I've got a couple images added. If I look over here, they've been added to my files. Okay, so now what I want to do is go back on the page that I'm editing, which is the new 1.h, oh, nope, new 2, and we can edit it from here. Now, it's a little confusing when everything just says new 1, new 2, that kind of stuff. So let's leave index.html as the home page, but let's give these other 2 a better name. So if you right click in here, you can go to rename, and I'm going to call this sports.html. Make sure the .html stays there at the end, but anything before the .html you can change. So I'm going to click outside of this, and now I've got sports.html, and then I've got new2.html. I'm going to go ahead and right click on it and rename it, and we're going to call this one pets.html, and I'm going to click outside of it, and now that's saved with better names that are easier to remember what's on there. So I'm going to go back to my pets.html page, and from here, after my H2 element is over, so I've got my H2, Thunder and Mallow, and then the closing H2 tag, I'm going to go to the next line down, and I'm going to add an image. So to add an image, you need to start with your left angle bracket, and then type img for image, and then src stands for source, so image source, and then you put the equals sign. Okay, after the equals sign, usually a list of images will pop up. If you don't see it pop up, then you may have incorrectly typed this first part here. Okay, so you can try again if that doesn't pop up, and then you should be able to just select whichever one of these that you want for your image. So if I click on it, it puts it in, and your image should show up in quotes on both sides. If it doesn't have quotes on both sides, it's not going to work. Okay, and then after that, you can put in an alternate text. Now, if I don't put an alternate text, it'll still show up. I can just put my closing angle bracket there. My picture will still show. However, if I want to put an alternate text, I can say ALT equals, and then we'll say adult rabbits. Okay, and then that one is finished. I can refresh and save it, and my picture is there. It's really big. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to add one more thing before this closing angle bracket. I'm going to say width equals 600. Okay, what that does is that changes the width of this picture to 600 pixels, so it's not so big. Okay, so that is all I need from an image tag. Now, if I go to the next one, bunnies, I'm going to go ahead and put in my next image. So I'm going to enter down, and I'm going to say img for image, space src for source, equals, and then I'm going to find my second image, and then I'm going to say the alt text equals baby rabbits. What this alt text is for is if for some reason your image doesn't show up, it'll say the alt text instead. It'll say baby rabbits if my image isn't working properly. Okay, then I'm going to change the width on this one too, so I'm going to put a space and type width equals 600. So it'll keep it at 600 pixels wide. And let's refresh and save, and then look over here, and I've got my little bunnies there too. Perfect. All right, so that's how you insert images. Now, if you don't have any images on your computer yet, you can first go ahead and do a Google search, and you can search for whatever you need. Let's say rabbits, and if we go to images here, we can then go to our settings to make sure that we go to our advanced search and get images that people are okay with us using. So in our advanced search settings down here where it says usage rights, we can change this to free to use or share, and then hit advanced search, and it'll give us only those that people have given permission to use or share. So if I wanted to use a different one, I could click on a different one. Okay, so I could click on like this one here, and then I can go to the page that has the image, and I can right click, save image as, and we can save this as whatever I want to save it. I'm going to save it in my downloads so I can find it with my other downloads, and then hit save, and then it shows up down here. Now, if I go back to code.org, then I can then say add image and upload file, and then I want to click on this one and then say open, and now it's uploading the file. So it's done. I can click this out, and then it's got one more on here. Here's my third one. Now I can add that too if I wanted to. And keep in mind that you do need at least 3 pictures on your website. So they don't all have to be on the same page, but I'm going to just go ahead and add them on this page. So let's do another one. Other wild rabbits, H2, and then I'm going to add my image. So image source, img space src equals, and then I'm going to take the European rabbits, and then we'll say alt equals wild rabbits, and then I'm going to close this out. Okay, so if I look over here, I've got my third picture. Once again, it's really wide, so I can change that again. If I click just before my closing angle bracket, I'm going to say width equals 600, and that shrinks down the width of the picture. Perfect. Okay, so we've got our images in there. We've got 3 images, we've got 3 pages. Now we want to make sure that our pages all link to each other. What that means is we'll have different things that we can click on that take us in between the different web pages to navigate to where we want to go. So let's go ahead and start at the index.html, and you can find that here in your files section. And let's go to the body. Remember, everything that you want to see on your website, including links, need to go in the body section. So I'm going to give myself a space after the first body opening tag, and then I'm going to link my pages together. So I'm going to say A, that stands for anchor. Don't have to know that, but it's just good to know. A space href, hypertext reference, A space href equals, and then you can find the page that you want it to go to. Now, let's just have links for all of our pages at the top. So even the home page is going to have a link back to the home page. So I'm going to click on index.html, and notice it puts the name in quotes. That is very important. So if you're typing it yourself, and you need to make sure you type the quotes. Okay, and then you can do a right angle bracket. Next, you'll need to type in what you want them to click on, the words you want them to click on to get to that page. So to get to the index.html page, we want them to click on the words that say home. That's what we're going to call it. After that, you do a left angle bracket, then a /A, then a right angle bracket, and this puts this home link up here at the very top of the page. Next, let's add a link to the next page. I can enter down. Once again, left angle bracket, A space href equals, and then I can put in my other pages. I can click on them. It's probably the easiest way. Or I can put the name in quotes, pets.html, and then quotes, and then right angle bracket, and then I can say pets, or I could say my pets. Really can put whatever you want in here that makes sense so they know where you're going to the next page, what it's about. Okay, then I've got my closing anchor tag. Next, I'll do my last page, left angle bracket link, A space href equals, and then we'll say in quotes sports.html. Make sure you have quotes on both sides, and then I'll say favorite sports. So that's the text that will show up in the link, favorite sports. Okay, so I've got my closing anchor tag there too. So I'm going to give a little bit of space just so it's easier to see where my links end. I've got home, my pets, and favorite sports, and then if I hit refresh and save, I can go to my pets from there, but I don't have any links to take me back yet. So let's go back to index.html, and let's click on favorite sports, and it takes me there, but no links back. So my index.html has all my links to my 3 pages. So what I want to do is just copy these links and put them on the other pages as well. So if I highlight this here, I can then copy it. So you can either do Control C, or you can right click and choose copy, and then you can go to your other HTML pages. Let's go to pets and go to the body section. Right after the body opening tag, enter down a couple times or once, give yourself some space, and then you can paste. You can right click and paste, and now I've got my links on my pets page. Now I'll go to the sports.html, and let's do the same thing. After the first opening body tag, I'm going to hit enter a couple times, and then I'm going to right click and paste those links. Now I've got the links here. I'm going to refresh and save this project, and let's try clicking in between the links. Got my home page, got my favorite sports, got pets, and I can click all through. Now if your links aren't showing up or aren't working properly, it usually either your link has a problem in the code, or you could have another problem somewhere on your page that you're trying to link from or link to. So make sure your pages don't have any errors, that you don't have any red highlighted code that's showing up with an error. So that's it for this video. We've got our images in there, and we've got our pages linked to each other. So we are very far along in our website already, but we do need to still add CSS, which is styling, and that'll be the next video. We'll talk about how to style your web page, how to add color, how to format your fonts and your pictures.